Well, we have a little bit of a conundrum here today. I was feeling a little bit left out. Baxter's Blades just showed this beautiful brand new trapper that he just got in. It's a case, it's in the peanut butter and jelly series, and it's got a clip point blade along with the Wharncliffe. That is my favorite blade combination. It's not too dependent on the pattern. I like when I have a clip point blade and some sort of a sheep's foot, ram's foot, lamb's foot, Wharncliffe, something along those lines. This is one that I modified about a week ago, and I've been carrying it ever since. This is Bear & Son Trapper, Yellow Delrin, and it used to have a spey blade. Now it has a much better utility blade. Now, technically, the sheep's foot would curve down. A lamb's foot would be smaller out here in width than down here at the base. A ram's foot is larger here than it is at the base. So I guess technically this would be a ram's foot since it is slightly taller here than it is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one. What I really want is a nice Wharncliffe with bone covers, just like the new peanut butter and jelly from Case. So what we have here is a queen. It's in winter amber bottom bone, QAWB54. Comes in a nice tin and in wax paper and in a bag. Very nice packaging. I have the knife right over here. What I do is I take little pieces of tape and I put little straight pieces of tape on to form the curve. And that's what I've come up with for this one. That's what the blade looks like from the factory. It's your typical spey blade. Maybe a little less angle here than what is normal. This is a little bit more square. But isn't that a beautiful looking knife? I love this bone. And this would be perfect to have in a Wharncliffe. You can see the blade centering on this is really good. That's been typical from these queens so far that I have gotten. I'm going to say they're a step above Case in their fit and finish. Now there are some things that are different. They don't polish the back springs, they leave them satin. It's not better, it's not worse, it's just different. So let's get started. We're going to turn this into a Wharncliffe. That's going to involve making a new nail nick over here. I like when the nail nicks are on opposite sides of the blade, so when they're both on the outside. You have one here, now we'll have one on this side for the secondary blade. Normally, and that's where this one is, it's right underneath the tape here, you have to reach over top of the clip point blade and get your nail in there to be able to get the spey blade out. I prefer the nail nick on the other side. So this knife will be improved and it'll be just what I'm looking for, and I'll feel a lot better when this is done. The other benefit of this over the peanut butter and jelly is this is 1095. I'll show you that on the main blade when we're all finished. This is what we ended up with. I think that's a pretty nice Wharncliffe. That'll allow me to get up underneath of stuff and cut, and then also do utility cuts at a nice low angle. You have more control at a low angle. When you have to stand the knife up on end, it kind of wants to flop around. But low, you're pressing down in a controlled direction, much less likely to slip. Okay, for the nail nick, we're going to start where the blade is full thickness. We're going to come from about here. Probably something like that. I'm not going to make it a long one. Maybe about to there. Let's close the blade and see what that's going to look like. Okay, I'm probably going to stay to the high side of that line. Okay, here's what the nail nick turned out like. I think it looks pretty good. And what's nice is when I grind these, the sidewalls go straight in. Unlike a factory nail nick where the edges are relieved and you have a little bit of a kind of round over and your nail wants to slide off. These give you a very positive engagement with your nail and a lot of bite, and it makes it very easy to get the blade out. That's really nice. I'm going to polish this top, and I think I'm just going to ease these edges a little bit. I'm not going to put a swedge or anything, but here you can see that that edge is just broken slightly. I want to continue that coming down here. Just working a little bit of case paste into this polishing wheel. There we go. I'm going to have to use some of my knife flush on this. After doing the grinding, the action on the main blade has suffered. Probably some grit down in there. Queen Cutlery Company, number 19, 1095 carbon steel. This is now going to be a perfect carry knife. The spey blade is normally just a hair shorter than the clip point anyway. We didn't lose very much length on that. I kept it as long as possible. Now I have a beautiful Wharncliffe blade in 1095 steel. Now I don't feel so bad missing the peanut butter and jelly. I think this is a nicer knife. I've had really good luck with the queens that I've gotten so far. And I really like this Winterbottom bone. These grooves in here give such good traction. It is just such a nice knife. It's very, very positive grip in the hand. And it just looks good. These are two of the products I make. This is a knife lube, and this is a knife flush. This is perfect for slip joints. So we're going to put a good amount down in there and work the blade back and forth. Overall, these have been coming pretty clean. Cases usually come pretty dirty. There's a lot of black gunk that comes out of cases. You see a little bit of black on there, but not too much. I think on the cases they leave the polishing compound. It just gets down inside. Just want to get all the gunk out of the pivot. I know I got probably some real fine metal dust in there and stuff from grinding on this. Now we'll do the Wharncliffe blade. I'm about 95% sure Son makes these queens. And overall, they've done a pretty good job. That's not a lot of gunk coming out of there. That's just a little bit. And probably half of that is from me. I could just tell opening and closing the blades, especially the main blade after I did the grinding, it lost its snap. The pivot on this one is also a little tight, so it should get more snap as time goes on, because there's extra friction when you're opening and closing the blades. But it's better they're tight and they break in, because there's zero blade wobble. These things are perfect. So over time, as it breaks in, you'll have a knife that performs and works as it should. Let's take a look at the blade centering. Look at that. Doesn't get much better. Everything is nice and smooth. I'll tell you what, they've really stepped up their game on the fit and finish on these knives over their typical knives that they put out in their own name, in the Son name. These are just beautifully done. Where do you find a case with nice square termination of the springs. Also, if you can see down in here, there's oil on there, but it's smooth. If you look at the case, it's very rough down in here. They don't polish them off. These are just very, very well built knives. No half stops. Pretty decent snap. That is an excellent knife. Queen Cutlery number 9, 1095 carbon steel. Now, the Wharncliffe blade. That's going to be it for this one. We'll see you next time.